Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this audio fan commentary on Skyfall movie, the 50th anniversary of the Bond franchise, and the third Bond film to star Daniel Craig as James Bond. I'm here with Jack McCulloch, and we are going to commentate on this magnificent Bond film. So yeah, like before, this is just a non-free. We are just fans doing this for fun. So yeah, if you want to join along with us, put your timestamps to 0 on your DVDs and Blu-rays and trudge along. So Jack, anything else you want to say before we begin?
This sort of makes up for the shit that was done the other day.
Yeah, I think that's true. So, are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, play. And this is the first time we see a new MGM logo, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting about this film is that MGM sort of went down the pan after Quantum of Solace. Like, there was financial issues, and that's why it took 4 years to get this film made.
Yeah, and thankfully the success of this film brought MGM back up a little bit. And I think the two Bond films that Mendes directed brought in a lot more money than that sort of helped them out with the problem, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, people complain about the gun barrel not being at the start, but in this case, it works. This opening shot would not have worked after the gun barrel.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a great way to open the film. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, like, having the gun barrel and then this just wouldn't have worked. I've seen someone do an edit of it online. It just doesn't work. I mean, I remember watching this in the cinema back in 2012, and I mean, yeah, Quantum of Solace was like 4 years previously, and that was the only other Bond film I saw in the cinema. And then seeing this, like, I was really surprised by it. I mean, going into it, you know, everybody said it's like, oh, it's the best Bond. Like, on the back of the DVD, it says that it's the best Bond film ever. Meal on Sunday. And, you know, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, yeah, sure. But then when I watched it, I was really blown away by it.
Same. I mean, I wasn't as huge of a Bond fan. I've seen a few of the films, but this sort of really grew up and got me into Bond, really. And I love this, that, you know, Bond actually, he's not a dickhead. He actually cares. He's like, oh, I'm going to stabilize Ronson, you know. So he's not show. He actually cares about the people he works with. But clearly M decides, no, just focus on the mission. Leave Ronson.
I think this opening is brilliant. And I love the cinematography as well by, oh, I've forgotten his name.
Roger Deakins.
Yeah, Roger Deakins, yeah. Yeah, I think the cinematography is great, and the way Sam Mendes shoots this is really good.
Yeah. I mean, even though I enjoyed Quantum of Solace, the camera work was a bit shaky. I mean, it was a different style, but I don't think it was really right for the Bond films, personally. But, I mean, you know, I'm all for them trying something new, but I think this is much better shot. Like this Inspector of some of the best shot Bond movies of the entire series.
Yeah, I love the locations in this as well. Like, I mean, that is one complaint you can make of Quantum of Solace. I mean, people sort of complain about the way the action is cut and stuff, which, you know, I'm not. I mean, I don't. And I can see why, you know, they don't like the way it's cut. But, you know, if you watch films like Bourne and Avengers and sort of modern films like that, it's cut in a fast pace, and
I mean,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, I can understand it. I can understand.
I mean, the Craig
they cut it
have drawn influence from the Bourne films anyway. I mean, the only action scene in Quantum that really bothered me was the opera scene. Hey, it was watchable, but the action here, I think, is way better. It's so intense. I mean, this opening is just epic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this action is really good. Although I will say, the opening car chase in Quantum of Solace, I don't care what anybody says. I love that opening. I think it's great. I mean, watching that in cinema. That opening car chase in Quantum of Solace is one of my favorite maybe my favorite opening to a Bond film. But I mean, this is definitely up there as well. This is a great opening chase,
I
and
also love the score by Thomas. So good.
yeah,
Money Penny's actually involved in the action for the first
I
time.
think Craig here as well is great.
This is like his Goldfinger. He's bringing more of a wittier edge to Marvel's time.
This is Craig's Spy Love Me or Goldfinger, you know.
What was not enough?
Oh, no.
I love this, the fact that they can go to this sort of scope, like with the Bond movies, they go to the Grand Bazaar or have a blooming pipe total on it.
I mean, I got the 007 Legends game, and the chase, you get to do this chase in the game, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that was bloody hard though.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're on this roof kind of reminds me of the location of Italy they had in Quantum.
This is so good when they go through the window. I'm surprised Patrice doesn't get a scratch, like when he goes through the glass.
Yeah, I love Daniel Craig's. I like the outfit he's wearing, and it's interesting after Quantum. I mean, his hair was quite long in Quantum. Here, his hair is quite short. I think it's the shortest he's had his hair. I mean,
it's a compositional thing. It's all to illustrate his age, the fact that he's getting older, and obviously Spectre has a similar sort of color palette in his costumes. Like, he wears like the grey suit. I think he wears like grey and dark navy blue in that as well.
yeah, I mean, the suit in this that he wears kind of reminds me of what Connery was wearing in Goldfinger a bit.
Yeah. This music. Dun, dun, dun.
Naomi Harris here is. I mean, yeah, this scene where they're on the train right here is awesome. I think Naomi Harris is Moneypenny as well. Like, I mean, we don't find out that she's Moneypenny until the end of the film, but she's great in this film as well.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell she is Moneypenny given her chemistry with Daniel Craig. Like the scene in the car just now when they smash the mirrors, and then later on when she shaves him, you can kind of see that it's her. But I think it's great. I think she's got a lot of potential for the future of the series to be a fantastic Moneypenny. She's been great in the 2 films she's been in so far.
Yeah.
I thought M's just like, get after them for God's sake, you know. She's like, just get it done.
I mean, also, yeah, this is the last appearance of, well, not the last appearance because she does make a cameo in Spectre, but her last full-time appearance as M, Judi Dench.
Yeah, it's almost her film, really, in a way.
The last appearance of Muffy.
I thought M was a randomly signed letter. I had no idea it stood for Muffy. Bond's out with his ammo. We've never actually seen that before, like, as far as I'm aware, when Bond's just run out of ammo.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like, most of the time he uses an unlimited pistol.
Yeah.
So what's interesting as well is, I mean, that earpiece he's wearing makes him look a bit like a bouncer.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. And that digger as well. Like, this is just such a big scene. I don't know how they... I mean, they got the budget to do all of this. But this is spectacular.
I mean, it's a great way to open a Bond film.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even got to the nitty-gritty of the plot yet.
Yeah.
So after this hard drive, which contains lists of agents on it or something.
Also, what's also interesting about the Daniel Craig Bond films is that, you know, you see him injured, you see him shot, like bleeding and stuff. Like in the older Bond films, like Bond,
it's not Superman.
Like, I mean, well, yeah. What's interesting about the Craig films is that, you know, you see him shot, you see him bleeding and stuff. In the earlier Bond films, like Connery and stuff, like Bond never really had a scratch on him. You never saw him bleed, really. You know, which I think they were trying to use with Casino Royale. You know, bringing Bond back to sort of Bond back to roots and make Bond look like he's not a Superman. You know,
Superman. This is brilliant when he just climbs over the digger and he jumps down in the train, and his one line is great.
Oh, he's
like a Roger Moore. This is like, you know, the first two Craig movies were a darker sort of set of stories, and now we've been brought back into a classic, into a classic Bond time now with Skyfall and Spectre. These are like the perfect blend of modern and classic Bond.
Yeah, I think Spectre is I think this is sort of setting up the classic Bond again, but I think Spectre is the one where it really sort of it gets all the elements like from the start. You have Moneypenny, Q, just setting it up, and it's sort of it's sort of the beginning of a new era for Bond. This train fight is just great. I mean, I don't know who did the stunt coordination, but I think, you know, the stunts and fighting in this is great.
He's like strangling him with a hard drive.
Yeah.
Patrice doesn't even say anything whatsoever.
I know this is Louis' favorite Bond film out of the ones that he's seen.
Yeah.
This is the film sort of got him into Bond.
Yeah. I mean, it does something different as well. It breaks a lot of conventions that the Bond movies have, like particularly with the last act of the movie where they go to Scotland, and that was perfect for the 50th anniversary. I mean, this is a great opening, like, because we haven't seen this sort of thing like happen for ages, where like MI6 have really well and truly fucked up. Like, not since actually maybe Quantum of Solace, because, you know, the whole issue of Dominic Green and, you know, Bond, you know, killing people and everything. But this is like, you know, oh, Bond is now sort of dead. M's like, oh shit, I've lost like my best agent. I'm surprised Moneypenny didn't get fired, actually.
I know this was your favorite Bond film before Spectre.
Yeah.
I suppose watching this in the cinema, I mean, like, it's sort of, I can understand why it was your favorite, because I mean, it is sort of it is a great Bond film. It is definitely a top 5, top 10 film.
Yeah, it's still one of the best. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm always torn with Skyfall and Spectre, but I've grown really attached to Spectre as well. Yeah. Take the bloody shot.
I mean, this seems really tense.
I mean, of course, Bond isn't dead because, you know, there'd be no film, but just the moment where Moneypenny is like, oh, I've shot him, and then they got away, and it's like, oh, well, hope is now lost. And it's all on M.
Yeah. I mean, Naomi Harris, like, watching Skyfall, I didn't recognize till years later, until I think you pointed it out, but Naomi Harris was Calypso in Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't realize it was the same actress when I was watching Skyfall, because she looks so different, like, in terms of the makeup.
Yeah. And plus, her accent is obviously different as well.
Yeah.
Is that a dummy they've used with Daniel Craig?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how the hell Bond did survive. Like,
yeah, that must be a dummy. I mean, they wouldn't have thrown Daniel Craig over a waterfall.
No. I mean, this song is so good. Adele. Like, they really need to get her. She's the new Shirley Bassey. They need to get her back to do another song.
I mean, fuck writings on the wall. This is okay.
Yeah. The title sequence is also beautiful as well. Daniel Klein.
Yeah. I mean, the way it transitions from Bond, you know, falling into the water, and then the title sequence, you know, it's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, also the fact that the title sequence is really different as well. Like this one. Spectre, Casino, Quantum, they all have different title sequences. Then there's no rehashes like the Roger Moore ones. Well, some of the Roger Moore ones.
Yeah.
People say like the shot of the graves like gives away M's death. I say bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
no, I don't think it does. I mean, it's just kind of, I mean, it's just a transition. I mean, it's interesting as well to see a young Daniel Craig as Bond here. Into his eyes. I think this is where Daniel Kleinman really hit his stride as a title sequence designer. I'm going to be honest. I didn't care for any of his title sequences during the Brosnan era. They were far too weird.
Oh, May. Yeah, I mean, they're a bit.
It was a nice shot. Silver as well.
Yeah, and all the red skull with the mist and the blood, and it's so creative. And then the Komodo dragons, and it's beautiful. It's almost like Bond's. I don't know how to say it. It's sort of like a hallucination as Bond is under the water. Like, if that makes sense, he's having like a near-death experience. That's what I see the title sequence as.
Yeah, I mean, I will say as well. I mean, if I were to pick which one I preferred, Spectre, Skyfall title sequence, I'd probably give it to Skyfall, but I still like the Spectre title sequence. That's great as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do like the Spectre one as well because of how all the links. You have Vesper in there and M, or Judi Dench's M, and Silver. You have all the links and connections to the other films. But I mean, Spectre's sequence anyway. And you have the misty women. I think it's a great sequence. But yeah, this one is. I think they're both just as good as each other. But I love the Casino Royale one as well. I think it's just really powerful.
I really like the Quantum one as well. Like seeing that in the cinema, I thought it was great. I mean, I know some people don't care for it, but I really like the Solace is great. Like when you got Bond shooting the bullet and then it says Quantum of Solace and the woman coming out of the sand. Like, I think all of Daniel Craig's
Calvin Johnson hates it. He seems to think it's just desert. But that's what makes it different. The fact that it's in a desert and that it's a basic idea, but it works. Calvin Dyson seems to hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get that honestly. I mean, I know it's his opinion, but he loves like the world's not enough title sequence and all this. I'm sorry, but I take the Quantum one over those any day.
The world is not enough one is fine, but it's just weird. Like just the oil,
like all the colors and yeah.
The song is a bit depressing to be honest. The world is not enough.
Garbage.
Come on.
I think I like the fact that you have a big action scene, then it's all sort of quiet after the title sequence,
and that's what you need. I mean, I do like Quantum of Solace, but jumping from one action scene to the next maybe was a little bit too sudden. Maybe they needed to long out the interrogation scene with Mr. White, but that's a minor criticism. I mean, Quantum was trying to do something different, but for this it works because we just had a sort of death for James Bond. I mean, unlike films like You Only Live Twice, it actually works.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why did you? It made no sense in terms of the plot. This makes sense.
I mean, you have Ray Fiennes here as M, and he's not M, but Mallory. Yeah.
It's funny. This is the first and only film with like more than one M.
Yeah.
She doesn't give in to his authority in this scene. She's like, I will leave when the job is done. I don't need you to tell me when I need to retire. I like that. There's a sense of power. Like, she's still got the power in the department. Obviously, he will take her position at the end of this film and then inspect her as well. But I like this scene, actually, between the two, because, I mean, I guess you could kind of say the only downside to the scene is that it could be a little bit predictable in terms of foreshadowing her death, but I guess for me it doesn't matter too much. Everyone's seen this film now, so yeah.
I mean, what's interesting as well is He's called Mallory in this, and then he becomes M in the next film. I mean, it's interesting because we never found out the name of the next M before they became the next M. Like, we didn't find out the name of Judi Dench's M until this film, Skyfall.
Emma.
Yeah.
Well, unless you want to call her Muffy. But no, I like Mallory. I mean, I wasn't sure about him at first, but when you find out he's actually a really good guy, like he takes the bullet for her halfway through this film, and Silver shoots her and tries to shoot her in the inquiry. So, yeah.
I mean, I think Dench, she's probably one of the best M's. I mean, I think maybe I prefer Bernard Lee, but I think Judi Dench is still really, really good in the role. I mean, I think out of all the M's, she probably gets the most to do.
Yeah, she's got the most involvement with the plots. I mean, obviously in Skyfall and The World Is Not Enough, she's personally connected to the stories, whereas the other M's are just kind of there to facilitate. I mean, Ralph Fiennes may well get more to do in the future films, depending on where they decide to take the series. But yeah, I mean, she did amazing in all 7 films she was in.
Yeah, same amount of films as Roger Moore.
Yeah. Imagine if she was in. I wonder if she ever met Roger Moore, actually.
Yeah. Could you imagine her, Roger Moore, Bond? I think you're a sexy dinosaur.
Wouldn't take him.
I mean, talking about this, I know Roger Moore said Skyfall was his favorite Bond film. And
yeah, he really admired the films that he was on himself, but he really liked, especially the Daniel Craig films. Well,
I think Daniel Craig was the best Bond.
Yeah, Think on Your Sins. I love how this is all, now that we know Spectre is back, this is all foreshadowing Spectre. And basically, Blofeld bombed MI6.
When I first saw, the plot of, like, Think on Your Sins, at first I thought it was a bit cheesy, but, this film it's classic but modern in a lot of ways because it's dealing with cyber terrorism and stuff. Yeah, and it's kind of like an end of an era as well. Like when the MI6 building blows up, like it stays blown up in Spectre.
Yeah, and then they actually blow it up again.
Yeah,
because obviously they've got the new building, the old building, I guess you could say. It's like an old office, but yeah, and I'm glad they did that because this film brings it all full circle for the 50th anniversary, and I believe that was the right direction to take it. I
was going to say a bit of product placement there with Daniel Craig and the Heineken.
Like, I mean, everybody complained about that, but who gives a fuck what he's drinking? I mean, he can't get a martini out here, can he?
I mean, look at fucking Moonraker, 7-Up advertising all over the place.
Yeah. You might as well have, just gone the full way and had every single fucking brand you could find. I like.
It's not like Die Another Day where there's like product placement every fucking second.
And the references here are actually subtle. They're not shoved in your ass like Die Another Day. This is how you do an anniversary film, Tamahori.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, that's what I really like about the 50th anniversary, but it doesn't make that point every 5 seconds. There isn't a reference every 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
this seems quite tense as well, with the scorpion and the drink.
Yeah. Bond has gone completely, like, drunk off the rails. Like with Daniel Craig, they made him like the most broken Bond of all of them.
They can get a real scorpion on Daniel Craig's hand.
I know, I think it's just CGI. They only have brief moments of CGI in this film. It's actually quite obvious to tell where the CGI is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how convenient the CNN is, like, in that TV, and he's like, oh, okay, I better get back to London then.
Yeah, like, he's in a foreign country and suddenly it's in English. Yeah.
Is he in Hawaii or somewhere?
It looks like it's South America or something like that.
Yeah, because obviously he from Istanbul, he must have been washed away far away. So how the hell does he have all of his passport things to get back to the UK?
He was flushed away.
Good film.
I didn't know till a few years back that was CGI. I mean, it looks like plasticine.
It does actually. I didn't know that either. This is quite sad actually. That all of the dead MI6 agents or employees.
Yeah.
I mean, Tanner, he actually has the most to do in this film that he's ever had. Yeah.
I mean, Tanner, I don't really. I think he's a bit of a pointless character, but yeah, he gets a lot to do in this. I think this is Judi Dench's probably best performance as well as she really shows the emotion in this film more than the others. I mean, I think you pointed out it's kind of like a mother-son kind of relationship between her and Bond.
Yeah, well, and Silver as well. Silver being it's almost like Bond and Silver are like the good twin and the evil twin. Like she's like favoriting Bond, and Silver's like the jealous bride. It sounds silly, but it's actually quite clever the way they deal with it because they both have their sentiments towards her. I think this is written well, this film. It's so clever, and it's very different to the previous two films that we had with Daniel Craig, which were more I don't know how to say, they were more darker stories. I mean, this has its dark moments, but there's actually a lot of humor in this film I like.
I mean, Joel Logan wrote this, and he definitely saved himself after Star Trek Nemesis.
I mean, he should never write a Star Trek film again. But, lens perspective. Bloody shot.
I made a judgment call. You should have trusted me to finish the job. It was the possibility of losing you, or the certainty of losing all those upgrades.
How he just breaks into a house all the time.
I made the decision I could, and you know it.
Bloody shot.
Yeah. What do you expect? A bloody apology? An apology? You know the rules of the game. You've been playing it long enough. We both have. Maybe too long.
M has a husband, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does, yeah. You saw him as well in Casino Royale, like when Bond calls her and when she's in bed and Bond's on the laptop.
Oh yeah, when the secretary guy calls her up and she's like, "Oh, you woke me to share his holiday plans."
Yeah.
Good question.
Love how bloodshot Bond's eyes look. Is like it looks scary.
It kind of shows. Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows that he's kind of washed up, like he's got a beard now, and he looks a bit of a wreck.
Yeah, like he's a bit past it.
Yeah.
When you return to duty, when you've passed the test.
Take them seriously.
I like the fact that she's still a bit of a nice queen,
Yeah.
even when on back.
Put things into storage.
Yeah.
Evil queen of numbers, as Tanner calls her in a Golden Eye.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Bond like? Could you imagine Bond like crashing out in her couch?
No, I couldn't actually. You bloody one sleeping here. Just those little lines that you get are just great. I mean, the Daniel Craig Bond films have such dry humour, which is why they work in comparison to, say, Roger Moore, whose humour is much more. The humour was really, that was his forte, and that became a staple of his films. This is more of these are more serious films, but they do have the humour, but it's not as Roger Moore, and I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, though, I think Skyfall and Spectre amp up the comedy in a good way, though. I mean, I think Spectre has a lot of one-liners and a lot of laughs in it, which isn't bad, you know. Yeah,
because I mean, Spectre's classic Bond, so it kind of is homaging all the other ones with all of his lines and everything. I mean, the scripts in itself are a homage. I mean, this is like sort of like you said, the first step towards that. because you don't really know where it's heading. But by the end of the film, you're like, wow, that was basically a classic Bond movie. But obviously, the story was so different because obviously going back to Skyfall, where Bond grew up, was none of the other films have ever done that.
I mean, I think you can tell John Logan improved as a screenwriter because this was 10 years after Star Trek Nemesis, so
And Die Another Day.
yeah, two franchises that were killed off nearly.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, the film now sort of slows down a little bit, but I think that's needed after the big opening action scene.
Jeez, we're already half an hour into this. I mean, it hasn't felt like it.
Shit, yeah, the pacing is really good.
Yeah. I find it a bit funny the way sort of like pumping up like with his face, like. I mean, this is quite good. I mean, you're right. I mean, it shows. I mean, Daniel Craig isn't that old here, but you know, it shows that he is aging and he's trying to get back into shape. And
yeah, I mean, Craig has never lost his physique since he got the role.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think he has got a little bit slimmer as the films have gone along, but that's just because he's older, you know.
Yeah, I think after Skyfall, he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
but he was never. I mean, he was never overweight. He's just sort of buffed himself up, and I think maybe in the 4 years since Quantum, he'd let himself go a little bit, and he was a bit more free about his diet. But I mean, after Skyfall, I think he was so certain to do another one that he probably thought, you know what, I'm gonna decarb and just stick to a proper diet. And I like this, that you know he can't shoot the target.
yeah, he can't get the target.
Parody.
From party.
Oh, get off your parody.
I like. Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine if Craig came after Connery? Connery just be calling him a parody.
Well, I hear he likes him now.
Day wasted. I saw a video on YouTube recently where Connery, like they were asking him, have you seen the new Bond film? And he was talking about Moonraker, and he was like, yeah, it was completely devoid of any reality or whatever.
Yeah. Can't please him. Sky. M.
Skyfall.
Murder. Employment.
I kind of like the fact that Craig's Bond is a bit cocky in all of his films.
Yeah, he's a bit of an arrogant prick. I like that sort of this. It's sort of like a striking the nerve when he mentions Skyfall. It's like, oh, okay, no, we're done. Like, because obviously Bond has a troubled childhood, not many fond memories. Do you know what age actually his parents died, and do you know when he was adopted by Blofeld's father?
I don't know. I don't think that was in the books, but I don't know when they said in the film. I think when he was like 10 or 11 or something like that. But I know his parents died in a avalanche skiing.
Yeah.
Avalanche.
Yeah, and then obviously, I mean, because the picture you see in Spectre of him, Blofeld, and his father, Bond, he looks about 11 or 12, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this scene's quite interesting where he's there's still a bit of shrapnel left in his body from I mean, how long was this set after the shooting? A couple of months or like a year later?
It's 3 months.
All right.
Mallory actually says it in the scene with M when he says, "Oh, 3 months ago you lost the data drive." For Her Eyes Only. It's a nice little reference.
Yeah.
Even though not many people rate that film. Well, actually, no. Speaking of that, a lot of people seem to like that one a lot more now than when it came out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't understand why a lot of people like I've seen a lot of people online saying For Your Eyes Only is Roger Moore's best film. I'm sorry, but I really disagree. I mean, it's his best film because it's more like a Connery Bond film. It's more down to earth, more serious. But for
The
me,
villains are shit.
yeah, I think people say For Your Eyes Only is really good because it's down to earth and more serious. But that doesn't really, for me, that doesn't really suit Roger Moore's Bond. I mean, that
Yeah.
suits more. That suits more, you know, Daniel Craig or Timothy Dalton than it does Roger Moore. You know,
I don't even think it would suit Sean Connery, to be fair.
yeah, you know, it suits Sean Connery more than it does Roger Moore. Like some people say, like I know Alan says Diamonds Are Forever suits Roger Moore more. So like I mean, for me, For Your Eyes Only, that suits Connery more than it does Roger Moore. Like I don't understand why some people say that's Roger Moore's best Bond film. Like
Yeah.
maybe Any Day or even Moonraker. I mean, I know some people would say like, you know what, but you know, I prefer Moonraker to For Your Eyes Only.
I agree. I like this scene with Bond and Moneypenny.
Then you better keep
She's like,
moving.
you better keep moving. I like, even after she shot him, they're still having banter. I guess because she's a woman and she has a vagina, so you know.
For Your Eyes Only is forgettable as well. Like the villains are forgettable. The you know even the henchmen are forgettable.
Gareth Manor.
Never have missed anything that PM does prattle on in a crisis. Well,
Mallory. I like how he kind of thinks Mallory is a bit shifty at first, but then you know he sort of trusts him after a while. I love the little bulldog ornament as well that M has on her desk.
Yeah.
congratulations.
How Bond actually kind of inherits that inspector. You see it in his flat when he's looking through his papers.
Why not stay dead? Dead. Because go and live quietly somewhere. Not many feel they get to leave this clean. You get out in the field.
Not many people get to leave this cleanly. Do you get out in the field much?
I mean, I didn't know until a while back as well that Ray Fiennes was Voldemort in Harry Potter.
Yeah, he's really good in that as well. Like when he filmed it, he obviously had motion capture done on his face. He had to wear dots all around him. But even apparently, it was still scary.
He's ready.
I mean, Ray Fiennes for me, he's not one of those actors that you can just, you know, just think of him in one role. Like, you know, he's done a lot of stuff like Bond and other things, Grand Budapest Hotel, stuff like that.
I actually think he fits M or Mallory perfectly. The way he puts on his voice and his demeanor, he's quite old-fashioned, and that is what Bernard Lee was. I mean, he's way better. Robert Brown was just a dick. He just played M like a dick. And
Robert
Mallory is
forgettable, you know, in the role.
Yeah. But I love how we see Mallory sort of he's an old sort of bit of an old fool, and in the next film he's sort of struggling under pressure. So he's an old-fashioned guy, and I think that really works. And up against Daniel Craig as well. So they have the great scene in the next film in the office when he's like, you know, you can start where you like, you know.
Yeah. What was I going to say though? About Gareth Mallory. I mean, I agree. He reminds me a lot of Bernard Lee. Like he's kind of like, you know, unlike Judi Dench's M, he's a bit critical of Bond. You know, he's a bit like, oh, hello 007. Like, you know, we've got work to do. You know.
In fairness to Judi Dench, in the Brosnan era, she was like that. She was very short and snipping, flippant. In the Craig era, she's showing much more sentiment towards him. Well, actually, in Quan, you're so blinded by rage, you don't care who you hurt. Around, just like, you know, you've got a bloody cheek blowing up an embassy. Really Skyfall where you towards him, but I mean, it was a different direction. But yeah, I see what you mean though. I think Bernard Lee as M in that sense. I never thought of it.
I know Alan says that he finds M's portrayal confusing. In like, I know he says Quantum of Solace, it doesn't make sense that M is on Bond's side, you know, and then she's not. But it does in the film. Like, there's a scene where this guy basically says, you know, if you don't bring in 007, we're gonna have to do it ourselves. She had to do that. And then when Bond manages to escape, she lets him go away because she was forced to sort of bring him in.
Yeah, and then because he gives her the information, he's like, it's like, oh, who would have done that? And she's like, oh, right, now I get it. Now I get it. It's time. So she starts to trust him. Then that.
Yeah. Well, we should do a commentary in Quantum someday.
Yeah,
That'll be interesting.
yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that. I love Ben Whishaw as Q. He's so again, he's old fashioned as well. But there's this young. It really updates the character. I mean, obviously nobody can replace Desmond Llewellyn, but he's an updated version of the character. And I'm so glad that they brought him in to the series, and I'm glad that he's staying for more films. I hope he is anyway.
I mean, it makes sense to have Ben Whishaw as Q because, I mean, even though I love Desmond Llewellyn, it doesn't really make much sense that like a 70, 80-year-old man knows all these gadgets and stuff. Like, I mean, this guy's sort of like a computer hacker. He's sort of in with the techno stuff,
Yeah,
I mean, I love that line as well.
of the next two films, I think even more so in Spectre.
I got the Walter PPK back fully in this film, which is great.
Take that tomorrow never dies.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Walter PPK was also in Quantum of Solace, but this is the first film where we fully see it back in action. Like, I mean, yeah, that's what pissed me off about Tomorrow Never Dies. He ditches the Wolfer PPK, like, it's like, what the fuck is that about? Like,
I love that the gadgets are so like it basically nothing. It's just the little radio and then the gun. It's a back to basics.
It's not like, it's like, yeah, what do you expect? An exploding pen,
It's a nice reference to GoldenEye. I mean, Bond, he's not a superhero. He's not invincible.
I mean, I know a lot of people say, when it comes to Casino Royale and stuff, like it's a reboot. But from Skyfall onwards, I think they tie it back into the original, like, the reference to the exploding pen. You've got the Aston Martin. I think this is the film that sort of ties it back in with the older films.
Yeah, it does, but it's still in a rebooted timeline. I agree. It's paying homage to the classic Bond era, which is what the first two didn't do. But that was fine because they were taking it in a different direction after the disaster that was Die Another Day. So yeah.
I mean, if you go to Shanghai for this segment, I can't help it. Sorry?
Shanghai is beautiful.
I have to say, I mean, I think maybe the reason why they went to Shanghai was maybe because of the Chinese market as well.
Yeah, I mean, just the colours are so beautiful. I mean, this swimming pool as well. I just said to my mum when we were watching this in cinema, I really love to go in that swimming pool. It's so colourful.
Just go all the way to Shanghai just to jump in a swimming pool.
Oh yeah, well no, just that. I'd love to go to Shanghai anyway, just to see it, because China's always intrigued me. There's a shot coming up where you see like an aerial view of like the bridge, like sort of a freeway bridge, which is awesome. Like Craig looks a bit silly with that hat.
Yeah. I'll be your driver today, governor.
He looks like a bouncer.
Yeah, he looks like Penelope, Thunderbird's Penelope Pit Stops driver. Yeah, Parker.
On the music.
Yes. I can imagine Craig just going, "Yes, milady."
That shot with the bridges there. That's awesome. How did they get this lighting? It's amazing.
Craig. He's still got a bit of a beard as well, like Bond. Yeah, he gets a shave later. Naomi Harris's Moneypenny gives him a shave.
I mean, we're nearly 45 minutes into this movie already.
Yeah. I think the cinematography for both Spectre and Skyfall are some of the best cinematography just in films at the moment.
Yeah, I generally look at both these films in awe, and the fact that they're so different as well. Like, the Spectre didn't copy Skyfall. The cinematography was much more different. Like, it was darker as well, which I think sort of helped. They knew they wanted to take it in a darker direction.
It's
I mean,
cool as well, the fingerprint gun. Like, they sort of had that in License to Kill.
Yeah, the
that,
gun.
yeah.
Yeah, well, License to Kill was so befuddled with the whole drug smuggling. Ugh, the movie was a bit of a mess. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was like it wasn't James Bond.
For me, Quantum of Solace was License to Kill done right. It was a dark revenge movie, but you know, it didn't have two conflicting tones. Like, it wasn't trying to add in all this comedy stuff
Yeah.
as well.
It knew it was serious. I mean, there was, well, if there were any comedy lines, there were only fleeting one-liners from Craig, but I can't really remember most of them. The only one I remember is the one he has with Fields when he's like, "I can't find the stationery. Want to help me look?" But other than that, I can't really remember any of his other lines from Quantum of Solace.
I mean, this bit here where he jumps on the lift is quite good, although I don't understand how he doesn't fall off.
Yeah, he manages to do it so easily.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if Bond just fell? That was the end of the film.
Yeah, let the sky fall. I mean,
I was about to say that, Skyfall.
he's probably not even sober as well.
Could you imagine the Skyfall was like Chicken Little or something like that?
Like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. I really do like this scene though. The way it's shot and the way it's lit. This is like a perfect example of like how creative you can be and how you can put artistic merit to something as Bond. Like Sam Mendes.
For a minute, I thought. Sorry, for a minute I thought you were going to say, yeah. For a minute I thought you were going to say you really like Chicken Little. Like.
Oh yeah, well, it's all right, but no, I mean, for this scene is so good, and the way it's shot, like in a silhouette kind of look as well, and it's so tense, like with the music when he's trying to, and he's like following Patrice through the glass doors and everything. Just fantastic.
Is it me or does he look a bit like Mr. Hinks? Like
Patrice?
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, he's not muscly, but I think in the facial features he looks a bit like Hinks. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I guess with the beard and the hair, but I mean, Dave Bautista's pretty distinctive, to be honest. So, yeah, I personally don't see it, but I guess because of the beard, I can understand why you say that. But
do you think The Rock could be a good Bond henchman?
God, I don't know. He probably would actually. He'd be a good like extra. Yeah. No, I'm not seeing Baywatch.
Oh no, I'm not watching that either.
Terrible.
I mean, I'm sorry, Harry, but why? Like, he said he loved that film, but it's been given shit reviews. I mean, I don't understand why he would love that, but fair enough, you know.
Got Skyfall over that any day.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry said he loved Baywatch. I'm not going to watch it. Sorry. Yeah, we should do a DCEU hangout soon, since we've all seen Wonder Woman and reviewed it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I love this. I love the sort of, the fight as well that happens with Bond and Patrice in the silhouette when it's shot in the dark and the music. This is a perfect scene. I cannot fault this scene whatsoever.
Yeah. I know Skyfall. I think it's Mark Mood's joint favorite with On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, he did really like Spectre. Actually, he was one of the critics who really did like it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like critics on YouTube, like Schmo Snow and Chris Stuckman, were just kind of like, it's meh.
Yeah, they said, "No, it's all right. It's good. It's okay." But But yeah, nobody. They didn't.
I don't understand. I don't understand how people can just say Spectre is okay. I think it's brilliant. I mean, even if you compare Skyfall, just to say that Spectre's okay, I think is kind of it's a bit like saying that it's kind of like saying that it's kind of like saying like if you like The Godfather and then Godfather Part 2 is just okay or something like that. I think they're both just. I mean, this fight is great.
I really wanted Roger Deakins to get an Oscar for this movie, but unfortunately, he was snubbed.
I think he should have got it for Spectre because I mean, I think the cinematography for this is great, but I think.
Oh yeah, Jack. By the way, the guy who did cinematography for Spectre was somebody else.
Was it?
Yeah, it was someone called Hoyt Van Hoytma.
I thought it was Roger Deakins because it's kind of similar to the way this film is shot.
Yeah, no, I thought it was at first as well, but then if you looked in the IMDb credits and the title sequence of Spectre, you see, oh, it's Hoyt Van Hoytma. I don't know why Roger Deakins didn't come back, but oh well.
I wonder if that guy was actually hanging from a building there.
First time we see the Bond girl of this movie.
I mean, that is one thing I think we both agree on is that the Bond girls in this film aren't great. Well, I mean, they're not bad, but they're just not in it that much.
I mean, yeah, she's a bit wasted, but I like her character. She's very mysterious, and she's basically scared as shit for her life. But it would have been nice to see her a bit more.
When Bond gets in the shower with her,
Yeah, I like it better without your Beretta. I think this is the scene actually where M starts to realize maybe this is more than somebody who I thought it was. Like she realizes it's Silver, and maybe even she realizes that it's one organization, Spectre. Maybe I think this is the moment where she finally realizes this is Spectre, and because if you remember, she's wearing that outfit when she recorded the video in Spectre when she says track down Skiara. So I think.
Come out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting that all the agents are on YouTube.
They're in danger. Take them out now.
How many subscribers does Silver have?
If you do not give me subscribers, I will kill you.
Think on your sins. Subscribe to me. Macau. Where is Macau? Is it in Shanghai?
It's an island off China.
Oh. Then he got there very quickly.
It's the same place that they went to in Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh, is it? Well, the exact same location?
Well, it's Macau. I don't know if it's the same place in Macau, but it's the same place that Man with the Golden Gun was filmed in.
Oh. That Moneypenny just flies halfway around the world to give him a shave.
Yeah. I mean, Naomi Harris is quite attractive.
Yes.
You're a little overqualified to be delivering messages.
And Q's afraid of flying.
With the learning curve. And Q's afraid of flying.
That's just a Bond's line. Of course, it is.
Already decrypted it. They posted the first site names on the
Yeah,
web.
he flies over to Austria in Spectre.
What's interesting as well, I think we both forgot to point out here, is that Bond actually failed his test and sort of gave him a bye ball. Like she let him go out there anyway, even though he failed his test.
Yes, that's true. You're right. Only he got like 40% or something. But she was like, "Well, he's all we've got." I guess because also the other agent in the explosion, so she had literally no other option. And Moneypenny is not fit to go out on the field again.
Yeah. The fact that he lets her like shave him with like a cut-throat razor,
After she shot him as well.
Yeah, can you imagine she accidentally cut his neck? It's like, take the bloody neck.
Yeah, like Sweeney Todd, James Bond style.
in any way I can.
We get Tim Burton on set, please.
We're the Sweeney, son, and we haven't had any dinner.
Oh God, the Sweeney was a terrible film. The Ray Winston one was terrible.
The original show though was pretty good, like Dennis Waterman and
Sorry.
isn't Daniel Craig from London?
Yeah, he's from London. He's English. Yeah.
He's from London.
I think he was born in Cheshire.
Yeah, I think he's from the north.
I think he went to Guildhall to do his acting training,
Yeah.
and obviously now he's.
I didn't know till a while back that he was homeless for quite a few years before he became a big actor.
Oh, dog. New trick.
Ooh.
This is beautiful.
One thing I will say that my mum kind of pointed it out, it's a bit cheesy the fact that he's standing on the boat, but
Oh, I mean, yeah, it is a little bit, but let him have his moment. He's Bond. He gets away with it. But
yeah.
I just love this moment when he's there and just all the colours and everything. I don't know how Sam Mendes and crew did all this, but I mean, this is a masterpiece, this film.
Yeah.
I mean, how far are we in? We're 55 minutes. Oh my God.
Shit. I was going to say though about yeah, I mean, so far, the references here have been really subtle. You know, we've had reintroduction of Q, we've had Bond's PPK back, we've had, you know, we've just had a, you know, basically gun and a radio, and you know, I mean, the references have all been really subtle. You know, they're not in your face. You know, like Down of the Dead. It's like, oh, here's the revolving mirrors from the man with the golden gun. Here's the jet from Octopussy. Here's the shoe from Rush with Love. You know, it's not like in your face all the time.
The pacing in this film is a lot better than Die Another Day.
Probably that, like the
It's
puns.
actually longer than Die Another Day.
Yeah, I mean, what's also good about it, I mean, the puns. You know, it's not every 2 or 3 seconds that you have a pun.
Yeah. It's banterous.
Yeah.
Chances.
Who doesn't like to take chances?
God. I mean, that's what I found that was quite funny when we did Bond Life. I mean, when I came up with the idea of having an obese Craig, because I mean, he's the fittest guy in the world, really. Well, one of the fittest guys in the world. Just having an obese Craig would just be hilarious.
It was funny to perform, actually.
Could you imagine him in Skyfall? Like, he's really obese. He gets into the shower, like squashes.
Severine.
Yeah.
I think she looks pretty seductive in that dress.
Sort of Asian, European, like Eurasian.
Yeah, something like that. The Thomas Newman score, again, is just superb for this film. Throughout the entire film, the themes he comes up with are amazing. It may have been a little bit rehashed. I think it would have been nice. I think it was nice that they chose fresh blood for the score. Newman, but a new return for Spectre.
Yeah. What's interesting about this film is that I think Daniel Craig, or a lot of people were saying that Daniel Craig wouldn't do any more after Skyfall, and like Craig said that this might be his last film, but I think he decided to do 2 more. The contract.
Yeah, well, he definitely, in an interview with Skyfall, he said, "Oh, I really want to do 1 more." So, yeah, but I mean, as for Bond 25, it looks like he's coming back for it, but we'll see.
I think it'll be his last. I think he should boy out after the 5th one, because I mean, no offense to Craig. I mean, I think the guy's great, but there have been a lot of gaps between each Bond film. I mean, they haven't even filmed Bond 25 yet. I don't think it'll be coming out till 2019 probably. So I mean, that'll be 3 or 4 years after. That'll be 3 or 4 years after Spectre. I really think maybe he should just boy out after that, because I mean, if you're gonna have all these gaps between each film, you know, like, you know, you're just kind of, you know, you're getting older yourself, and you know, you're doing yourself no favors if you're sort of drawing out your time as Bond, you know.
Yeah.
Because then you'll get older, and if you want to do any more movies, you're going to keep people in suspense. So,
yeah. I mean, the thing is, he's a very bankable Bond. He's brought in the most amount of money out of all of the 6. So, and he knows that, obviously, and he knows there's a huge paycheck in it for him as well. But and the producers know. But he's genuinely very, very good. Well, he's my favorite Bond, and I've loved all of his films.
No, don't get me wrong. He is up there for me. He's right next to Roger Moore. I mean,
Only a certain kind of woman who has a back.
I mean, one thing I will say is,
You can never be too careful when
I forgot what I was going to say actually, but yeah, yeah, Severine, I agree, is attractive.
Yes.
She's the only problem I have with this film. Not her herself, the character. Then she gets killed off, and the line that Bond is a waste of good scotch. I don't know. That seems a little bit too cold, even for that, you know. But you know, it's not a major complaint. It doesn't disrupt the film, but the rest of it, you know, just hangs together so well that, yeah.
What's interesting about this Bond film as well is that it was the 50th anniversary of the franchise, and it was a 4-year gap between this and Quantum. And I mean, out of all the Bond films, it's made the most. I mean, I think Thunderball before this made the most, adjusted for inflation, but this was the first Bond film to make well over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Box office. I mean, I think Thunderball, I heard adjusted for inflation, it made $1 billion, but this is the first one to make like the most money out of all of them, because it was the 50th and because Bond had been away for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, Spectre, then I think it made like 800 billion or something, which was still very good.
I mean, some people were saying that. Some people were saying online that Spectre was going to make more than Skyfall, but I just said to myself, nah. I mean, I doubt it after, because I mean, Skyfall was the 50th, and
yeah,
for it to make more than Skyfall, you know, you're going to have to do something really big to get more money than that.
Yeah. I mean, they were able to throw a lot of money into Skyfall, but yeah.
That's what's weird about films now. I mean, films used to make millions. Now they're making billions. A lot of films, like ever since the 2000s, like with Return of Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Jurassic World, Skyfall, Star Wars, Force Awakens, and Rogue One. You know, all these films have been making billions of dollars. You know,
and someone usually does. This is an interesting scene because we haven't even seen the main villain yet of the film, and we sort of know a little bit about him. In that sense, Spectre kind of, it may have copied this formula a little bit, but it works. The whole idea of building up to seeing the main villain. I mean, it works for both films. For this, it's great when we on the island when he. I mean, we'll get to. I like how she's trying to hide how scared she is, but under all the dark makeup and the sort of the bravado dress, you know, and he can see right through her. He's, as he said in Casino Royale, he's good at reading people.
Yeah, I mean, what's good about this film as well is I think that after, I mean, I know some people were disappointed with Quantum of Solace. I think this film as well, if you were disappointed with that film, you know,
it totally makes up for it.
Yeah. I mean,
I like it was good, but it could have been better for me. It's the weakest Craig film, but I still think it's good enough, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think like Royale, but I still like that as well. Like, I don't think there's a bad film in the Craig era, to be honest.
Yeah. This is a pretty cool fight scene.
Yeah. I mean, strangely enough, I mean, everybody else I knew liked Skyfall, but I know a few people who were slightly disappointed with it. Like, I remember my cousin's friends, family thought it was a bit disappointing because they went to Scotland and they didn't go to enough exotic locations.
What in Skyfall?
Yeah.
Solace.
No, in Skyfall.
Skyfall. Oh, fair enough. Okay. So that's the end of that gun.
I mean, the line coming up, I don't get, like, you know, it's a circle of life. Like, what?
The what? Sorry.
The line that he says in a minute, like, it's a circle of life. Like, what the
Hell,
yeah.
go on red.
What the fuck does that mean?
Like what? Is that because Sam Mendes was a theatre director and he wanted to reference The Lion King for whatever reason?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Like, why is he referencing The Lion King? You know.
Put it all on red. It's the circle of life. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's good.
But anyway, moving on from that.
Yes.
It's funny, when I first saw this movie, I forgot that was Severine because the makeup had all been taken off, and she's just in a dressing gown, and the hair was all down. I was like, oh, is that someone else? But oh, you know, it's funny how.
I think she looks better.
What better?
Yeah, I think she looks better. Sorry.
What better with or without the makeup?
I think she's better without the makeup.
Love the music.
Yeah, this scene is a bit creepy since she's an ex-prostitute.
Yeah, and he just goes in unannounced into the shower.
Yeah,
It's like sniffing her up.
Brosnan.
You better without your Beretta.
Brosnan just necrophiler.
Without your Beretta.
I mean, I suppose she sort of let him come under.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is a bit creepy nonetheless.
Yeah. And then you know what.
We should warn you, some viewers might find these images disturbing.
What's interesting as well about Spectre and Skyfall, which I really like, is the fact that MI6 is sort of under threat. It's, you know, I mean, it's not just about Bond, it's about MI6 as well, which is good.
Yeah, they're a lot more involved, especially in Spectre with the whole Nine Eyes thing with C. With this, it's still interesting because obviously, like, you know, it's all on M, but she can't. She has to rely on Bond to sort of stop all the terrorist attacks.
Bloody idiots fighting a war we don't understand and can't possibly win.
People are trying to defend. We can't keep working in the shadows. There are no more shadows.
Prime Minister's ordered it to
I mean, Mallory's trying to move with the times, but it's interesting in this film that M she doesn't want to accept that MI6 is under threat. And then the next film, Mallory's kind of in that situation that M was in this film.
Yeah, she's very set in her ways, and she's not welcome to change.
Yeah.
Shadows.
Oh yes, Mr. Bond!
We're actually almost halfway through this film.
I mean, what's interesting, this place they're going to, this abandoned place, it's actually it's a place in real life. It was like a place where workers, like these workers were living on this island, and then something went wrong, I think, and they had to leave. It's actually a real place that they're going to.
It's not
Yeah. No. It's real. It's off the coast of some place. Like these workers live there, and I think there was like a reactor meltdown or something like that. They had to leave.
I can't help thinking that like Blofeld gave this island to Silver as like a birthday present.
Yeah.
Cuckoo.
Oh.
Or maybe Silver just attacked the island, inherited it as his home. All the Spectre aliens just have their own homes that they invade, that they just conquer. I mean, obviously Blofeld has his base.
Does he always get what he wants?
I know some people say that they find it a bit unbelievable that Silver was working for
Blofeld.
But I could see it because, you know, why would he go back after him years later, you know?
Yeah, because I'm following Bond since the beginning, since Casino Royale, so we now know, it kind of answers a lot of questions, actually.
I'm sorry.
Like, how does Silver know how to find M? You know, it answers that question. You know, and also Quantum of Solace, like how Mr. White kind of is involved as well. But this is a really good scene when we first see our villain, Silver.
I like the speech that he gives when he's walking up to Bond.
Apparently this was all improvised, and he suggested to Sam Mendes, you know, just do it in one shot. I've got this amazing this speech to do.
Did he make up the speech, or did he just improvise?
I think it was written a bit differently, but I think he decided to, you know, kind of compare. Like the speech was just about general things. It wasn't as metaphorical as the whole rats thing, but I think the whole rats idea was Javier Bardem.
That's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, a very, very talented actor. I mean, so good at playing villains.
I mean, he was in No Country for Old Men before this, about 5 years previous with Josh Brolin. It was directed by the Coen brothers, and he's great in that film. He's like, you know, how much have you lost in a coin toss? Like, the sadistic killer in that. And I mean, he's great in any film as the villain. I mean, he's great here, and he's also great in Pirates of the Caribbean as well, like as Salazar.
Yeah.
It's like funny you have Silva and now you have Salazar, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like how in this movie he's just insane. Like, he's completely nuts.
Yeah.
And he's also a little bit homophobic, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's interesting. He's married to Penelope Cruz, who's actually quite attractive, and against Javier Bardem, but even my mum pointed it out. He's quite ugly, you know. I'm surprised Penelope Cruz married him.
He's all right. He's old. He's not a young strapping guy as he used to be. But hey ho.
Well, what's interesting about Javier Bardem? I think he dyed his hair blonde for this role.
I thought that.
Sorry.
I thought that was a wig.
No, he dyed his hair blonde. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He dyed his hair blonde for this, kind of like Christopher Walken in A View to a Kill. He dyed his hair blonde as well. I mean, he looks a bit like Mark Soren, like with the hair and all that. It's kind of like a maniac as well.
You jeopardize mine. Go fuck him. Go.
You know what would have been cooler if Silva and Bond had a fight with an axe in Quantum of Solace rather than Dominic Green.
I know you like Quantum of Solace, but I thought Dominic Green was a terrible villain, and I just thought that bit with the axe was so silly and just really funny. And he's like shrieking at the axe.
I will admit, when I was rewatching, when I was rewatching that about a year ago, I was laughing at that as well. Like just when he got the axe, like.
It's like how would Daniel Craig lose to that little weasel?
This scene is very good though, like the rats and the fact he's sort of coming on to Bond, like unbuttoning his shirt and shit, like.
Complain about that, but it's like, no, Bond isn't gay. He's trying to catch him off. Like he's trying to, you know, make him feel nervous and scared. But Bond obviously.
Yeah. Exactly, like when he says, "What do you think? What makes you think it's my first time?" He's not gay. He's just trying to catch him off. And I mean, you know, James Bond, the guy's 100% straight. I mean, how many fucking girls has he banged? You know, women has he had sex with? You know,
Silver, beware of the STIs.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say. Like, you know. I'm surprised Bond's dead by this point from sexual
I'm surprised he doesn't have any kids as well. He's got no children.
Yeah.
Imagine if all the Bond girls just turned up at his flat one day and be like, can you look after him today? Can you look after Junior? Like, he has like 500 kids.
It's like they're pregnant. It's James Bond Jr. It's like Sean Connery comes in, Junior! We named a dog Indiana.
What makes you think this is my first time? Huh? Mr. Bond. Yeah, but I mean, some of the other Bond villains were quite flamboyant anyway, so this isn't anything new. But I mean, it's only that one moment. The rest of the film, Silver is an absolute, you know, twisted fucker. To the least.
He's one of the most insane Bond villains.
You just don't know it yet.
It's interesting. This is the second. He's the second actor who's an Oscar winner, apart from Christopher Walken as well, to be a Bond villain. Like Christopher Walken and Javier Bardem are the only Bond villains to. Well, no, Christoph Waltz as well as an Oscar winner. So we've got 3 Bond villains so far that are Oscar winners.
Yeah. What about Gert Frobe, who played Goldfinger?
I don't think he won an Oscar.
Transmissions from a spy satellite over Kabul. 1. Greek election in Uganda. All to
Greek election in Uganda.
The highest.
Or a gas explosion.
Resurrection.
He's Jesus Christ.
I know Silver's surrounded by all this technology. He's got all his computers and everything.
Hello. Could you imagine Silver opening his own hardware store?
Silver stuff.
It's a story, doesn't it?
And Craig sunglasses. It's funny, they picked his pockets for his weapons and stuff, but they left his sunglasses.
Yeah. He looks a bit like the Terminator with those glasses.
When a thing is redundant, it is.
When a thing is redundant.
It is a bit brutal when he has to shoot her.
Yeah. He's like, well, at least I got to have sex with her.
Yeah. That's the important thing for Bond.
No. Oh, you know what? Here's a fun fact. What's Bond's favourite meal?
I don't know.
Bangers and mash. Oh, he's being really creepy around her.
No. Stand up straight. Keep still. And whatever you do, can use your head. Don't lose your head.
Not many Bond girls go on to appear. Not many Bond girls go on to appear in other movies.
Some of them have been in other movies, like Eva Green.
He's handing him a musket. No, it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Arg.
Where is Captain Jack Sparrow?
There'll be one pistol as before, and you can be the gentleman who shoots the lady.
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. Yeah. He knows he's going to miss anyway because of his arm.
The musket's cool. Take the bloody shot.
Take the bloody shot. That would have been good actually if he'd said that.
Did you really done it?
Take the bloody shot.
Is there any?
I missed the trick there.
Off more. Would have pissed him off more.
Whoops.
Oh.
I will. What do you say to that?
This is gone.
I wasted a scotch.
What to do now? Take it back to her? All on your own.
Like, that picture of him there, done like that. I remember you used to have that on your Skype.
Oh, what? When he's pointing the gun at Silver?
Yeah. So when he's pointing the gun down, you used to have that picture as your Skype profile, I remember.
Oh. You rush.
On the radio.
Radio.
Called a
I'm back in London.
Jack Sparrow.
I mean, people actually see this whole plastic prison thing as a rip-off of X-Men and The Dark Knight and stuff, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter, does it? At the end of the day, they need to contain him, and after all, it's what he wanted. So you know, they're not going to put him in a normal prison cell. That's too easy. I reckon if Blofeld is imprisoned in the next movie, he'll probably be in one of these things as well.
It'll be like this. He's in a container. I hope Blofeld is in the next film just to finish off the Craig films. That would be great.
I agree. And I think Waltz, you know, he's got to do it. I mean, come on. Just do it.
He said if Craig comes back that he would do the next two Bond films. And we need Blofeld in more films, you know, just to have him in Spectre would just kind of be like a bit of a waste.
Yeah. And a lot of people complained about the lack of screen time, so no.
Regret is unprofessional.
Yeah, I mean, this scene between her and Silva's quite good.
Regret is unprofessional. They kept me for 5 months.
We've only got an hour to go.
With no air. They tortured me.
5 months in a room with no air. They torture me. And I got
Yeah, it's interesting that he used to be a former MI6 agent.
Yeah.
But it's strange. I mean, I don't know how he is an MI6 agent because he's not English. He's not British.
I have no idea.
You remember?
It's funny, like you can see how much he resents her, and you can see how much she's scared of him. Like,
I think she sort of feels a bit sorry for him as well.
yeah, I think there is an element of guilt there, but she doesn't regret what she's done.
But I didn't die.
He hates her though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Going to make a disease.
And then I understood why I had survived.
I had survived.
Look in your eyes one last
I needed to look in your eyes one last time.
Ooh.
But I hope it was worth it.
Well, I hope it was worth it.
Silver, you're going to be transferred
Silver,
to Belmarsh, where you'll be
transferred to Belmarsh prison, where you'll be remanded in custody
service deemed fit.
until the Crown service deems fit.
You're my man? Yeah.
Names on the memorial wall.
On the memorial wall,
Building.
you attacked.
Fuck off.
I will have it struck off.
Oh.
Soon,
Non-existent.
your past will be non-existent as your future.
I'll never see you again.
I'll never see you again.
Bye.
Ooh. That's harsh.
It's funny. Tanner never has he has the same expression. He doesn't. He's not scared. He's not like worried or anything. He's like, yeah. He's
This
just
seems quite disturbing.
Mm.
Ugh, God.
on your run. Some freaky CGI.
Some people said he looked a bit like Gollum.
Yeah. Process.
Right. Process.
See ya.
Lord of the Rings, the Twin Towers.
Or the Twin Towers. Everybody calls it the Twin Towers. It's not. It's the Two Towers.
Well,
Yeah.
I used to say it as a joke to my friend, like.
Yeah.
I was looking back at my review of Fellowship of the Ring recently, and I accidentally said at the end of it, "I'll see you next time for my review of Lord of the Rings and Twin Towers."
Oh dear. Yeah. Just careful how you say it. Some people might get offended by that. So.
His name is Tiago Rodriguez.
No, I just made a slip up. I mean, it's interesting. That film came out 1 year after the Twin Towers went down.
And they were on to him, so I gave him up.
Mm.
I got 6 agents in turn, had a peaceful transition.
1 agent for 6. That's fucking.
Say what's on
I watching it on the computer.
You want to still have porn on that computer? The Judi Dench porn?
Silver's porn.
Now, looking at Silver's computer, it seems to me he's done a number of slightly unusual things.
They get a virus from his porn sites.
Yeah.
About 6 people in the world programs they've done.
Sends a picture of Judi Dench's Muffy around the whole world.
See what you've
I
got.
love this, how he's just able to hack into anything. But this is not.
He's like Brandon.
Awesome score.
What do you make of this?
I kind of like that. He's sort of like a yoga trance. He's in there.
Sir,
This is only exciting. That's some cricket everybody has.
Sort of meditating in that circular box thing.
Yeah, well, in the prison. Yeah.
Security throws to
Yeah, the score by Thomas Newman is great. He returned, didn't he, for Spectre?
Yeah, I liked his score for Spectre. A lot of people didn't. I mean, yeah, it was a bit from Skyfall's score, but the score for Skyfall was bloody brilliant. So why not?
Only that, but I mean, David Arnold sort of, he's had his day.
Yeah.
Your stewardship of MI6 during the recent crisis has been
We believe your stewardship of human recent crisis is enough to stretch.
So it's job well done.
Ensure that the sensitive information
Yeah.
Monumental
Oh, Valerie.
Sam Mendes he's just a fantastic director. I mean, he really proved himself with this film, I think, that he could direct a movie.
Bond as well. He's a fan as well.
The fact that he managed to make a Bond film that was this fresh and engaging after 50 years, it's really a testament to how good he is as a filmmaker.
Because this took 4 years before they, well, it took a good few years before they actually got it going.
Tube station on the Metropolitan line.
Yeah.
It closed for years.
Remember, this house is no tube station on the Metropolitan line. It's close to
Now I got an action chase scene in London as well.
And what's interesting, Daniel Craig was in Our Friends of the North, Christopher Eccleston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
subterranean London.
Before they did Doctor Who and before they did Bond.
So
Could you imagine instead of could you imagine Daniel Craig instead of Severine being his own girl, it was Catherine Tate?
oh god. You know, people complain about like this part when Silver's like, how could he have planned all of this? Well, the fact that you know where he is, and you know, Blofeld has obviously put things in place for him to escape and you know, break MI6 apart. So I say that it's people expected that help Silver escape.
Not only that, it's like people say, how does he know how to do this? He's been planning it for years and banked on Bond capturing him.
This is their world, a little isolation.
You ring me, kid. I can hear you. I'm looking for you.
Remarkably good signal for Underground.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that one liner earlier. It's like, it's a new invention from Q Branch. It's called a radio.
It's called a radio.
Just keep moving forward. Service door on your right.
I mean, this is a great action scene coming up.
Love the fact immediately already that we can see this is such a different film to the first two.
This was years in the plan.
He wanted us to captain. He wanted us to act as his producer. It was all planned.
I mean, even Q said that there. It's not an escape. It's a plan that's been in the making for years.
This was done in the service door on the left.
Just done it close, the service door on the left.
Jack,
Of course it will.
Yeah.
Come down here and put
keep
it back.
yours playing and keep talking. I just need to go to the loo for a sec. I'm going to keep mine on because obviously I haven't got time to pause it. Won't be a sec.
Alright. All this stuff in the London Underground is really well done. Like the way it builds up the tension here is just great. I think Q, it's great that Q gets a lot to do here in this scene. The fact that he helping Bond while Silver's planning his escape.
Sorry. Just wait till we're finished. For fuck's sake.
You alright?
Yeah, no, I have to wait till someone's finished in the loo. I'm getting desperate.
Where are you now?
You're like Daniel Craig in the false gun barrel. You can't wait to get a shit or a piss.
Oh, I see. I know where I am.
Where's he?
There's a second. I'm looking for him.
I wonder if these extras are all credited.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of long credits, I was watching Salazar's Revenge recently, and I stayed to the end credits. And the end credits, my god, they went on forever. And like literally, the credits, there were like names from left to right on the screen, just going down for paragraphs and paragraphs. I think it was like the longest list of credits that people have ever seen in a film, I think.
And you watch the scene after the credits.
Yeah. It took a while for the credits to the end, though. I mean, it was like 5 minutes until the credits ended.
Oh, this is a great.
He's keen to get on.
Open the door.
Health and safety. Carry on.
Health and safety.
Right. Take a wild
Take a wild guess.
I mean, this film does have its moments of light relief, which is really good as well.
Like that moment there with the man that just said, "Oh, he's keen to get home." That's like proper British humour. Like
Open the door.
open the door. Yeah. How they kind of loosened Craig up a little bit for this one, and they've made it a bit lighter, giving him more
I
humour.
think his best performance is yet to come in Spectre. I mean, he's just so laid back in the role by that point. He's so confident in Spectre, you know, and he's great here as well. I mean, I don't think he's given a bad performance in any of his films. I think he's actually gotten better with each film. Casino, he was great. Quantum, he was better, I think, with like being emotionally shut off and grief-stricken, and then Skyfall. Then in Skyfall, he sort of loosened up and he's trying to recover, and then Spectre, he's just kind of really confident, sort of humorous, and
Yeah. To be honest, even like on a normal day, you have even more people on the train.
yeah.
This is great. Just great. Like, there's no other way to say it. Normally you have those signs that he jumped over. Normally they're like down on the slopes.
Could you imagine Bond sliding down that? Could you imagine Bond sliding down and he was like, "Wee!"
We're on an all-time high.
They were when they were making this film.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like this. Like Bond sort of loses Silva.
Yeah. He's like as he used to be. He's not as sharp as he used to be. So now he's got to kind of retrace his steps.
He's a little bit like Roger Bird if you do a kill, just a bit.
Yeah, not as emotionally struck down as him though.
We still live in a golden age of espionage.
Yeah, I mean this woman. I mean she's just being a bitch to Anne.
Yeah.
This woman in the film is being really nasty to Anne.
Yeah. They're like just slating MI6 just because, rather than try and solve the problem, they're like, oh, yeah, you can't do anything about it. You've let this slip. This is all on you. Where it's like, like the fate of the national security rests in your hands. But thank God for Mallory. He's like, bitch, shut up.
Mad Mallory. If Ray Fiennes was in Mad Max, Mad Mallory, Fury Road.
Oh!
Whoa!
Thank you.
Surprisingly polite. Like, bad for a physical wreck.
Now, here's your prize. From my local
Store.
It's called Radio.
Radio. Woo!
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't for me. But that is.
Oh, good. There's a train coming. You have reached your final destination.
Imagine if Bond said, "End of the line."
Yeah. Get on the choo-choo train.
It's a circle of life.
Yeah. Oh, this scene is absolutely brilliant. And M reads the poetry.
Yeah.
This is one of those Bond moments which is really rare. You rarely come across. It brings the emotion of the story together for me.
Irrelevant. Why do we need agents? The 00 section, isn't it all rather quaint? Well, I suppose I see a different world in you. And the truth is that what I see frightens me. Frightens me.
Yeah.
Because our enemies are no longer known.
It's a great piece of acting by Judy.
They're individuals.
Tanner's like, fucking stop reading poetry, let's go.
When you see a face, a uniform, a flag, no. Our world is not more transparent now. It's more opaque. It's in the shadows. That's where we must come back. So, before you declare us irrelevant, ask yourselves, how safe do you feel?
This is actually a sort of plot that continues in Spectre. The whole Nine Eyes thing, the whole global surveillance plot. Like, he's trying to say to C is trying to say to Mallory, oh, you know, there's the 00 program's prehistoric. What can one man in the field do? We've got a global network who's controlling everything what we do and, you know, keeping us, you know, at arm's length. But this is beautiful.
Which in old days moved Earth.
What's interesting is that die between Skyfall.
Made weak by
She's a widow.
Mm.
But strong to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
He bursts through the doors and just starts shooting her. Ooh, good one, Mallory.
Like, you know the way he puts the gun there and he sort of hesitates for a moment there.
This is such a good action scene with like Bond, M, Moneypenny, the new M as well, Tanner, like, they're all involved in this shootout, and obviously Silver as well.
Could you imagine if Bond ran into the wrong building, like Johnny English or something? He got the wrong building.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's cool that Mallory sort of gets involved in the action as well.
I love that Bond winks at Mallory. I mean, we've been watching this film for 1 hour 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gone so quickly. You know, this is the same length as Quantum of Solace. We've watched the entire length of Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace is actually a pretty good film, like in terms of taste. We've still got about another
Half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't include the credits, it's about, what, another 20, 25 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, seeing this in the cinema, like, we just blown away by it.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh my god, this is actually really good. No, like, Bond just drives off, and Tanner doesn't even bother to go after the car.
After you watched Skyfall, what Bond film did you watch after that on DVD? Like, which ones were the ones you watched first on the Bond 50 box set?
I don't know. I watched Goldfinger. I think I watched the Dalton ones as well. I can't remember which order I watched them in, but I did watch all of them at some point, and then rewatched them all as well. And I was like, yeah, I really started to love the films.
You? I need help. You? I'm tracking. Oh, where are you going? Go ahead. We're about to disappear. Go ahead. What? We're about to disappear. Friends, impossible to follow for anyone except Strobe. I think you can do it. Impossible to follow for anyone except Strobe. I think you can do it.
I'm guessing it's the official.
Not even remotely.
So much for my promising career in espionage.
I mean, this was 5 years ago. It doesn't feel like 5 years ago.
It doesn't actually. It really doesn't. It's
Who's hiding in there?
aged really well.
We're changing vehicles.
I'm not hiding in there.
With company cars, they have trackers.
Oh, this bit's awesome. Aston Martin DB5. Fuck yeah.
And they finally brought it back.
Yeah.
Suppose that's completely.
I mean, I showed you that photo of me recently. I saw the Lotus Esprit at a car show. I mean,
this is just a present for the fans, like the producers and everybody. Thought, you know what, we gotta have DB5. If they didn't have the DB5, this film would have been considered sacrilegious to the Bond fans.
yeah.
Oh, go on, it's yet, mate.
You're going to complain the whole way.
See if I get
Click on the ejector button from Goldfinger.
Somewhere we'll back in time.
back in time.
Somewhere we'll have the
All smell of that.
Hannah's having a minute. That's where he's drinking Heineken as well.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing? Creating a false tracking signal for Silver to follow.
Well, so
No, excellent thinking. Get him isolated. Send him on the A9. It's the direct route to monitor his progress.
I like the fact that Mallory, like, you think that he's going to be like, you're not doing this, but then he helps them. He lets them do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Mallory really shows himself to be like a stand-up guy.
Yeah, after his actions in the inquiry, you sort of really believe, yeah, he's a good guy and he's totally on their side. And just that moment there, you can see, yeah, he'd be a great man in charge. And yeah, and I love this that we can go back to Scotland, and the cinematography changes quite a lot actually.
Yeah,
the colours go grey and dark. But this is fantastic.
I think M says, like, I can see why you hated this place. It's a shithole or something like that.
Yeah. Mm. He's like, well, you know the whole story, you know, about his child.
There's a scene later that's quite shocking where, like, she says, I fucked this up, haven't I? It's like, you know, never really heard that before in a Bond film.
Do you think actually because M knows about Bond's childhood that she was able to sort of clock that it was Blofeld that was behind everything, or only just assumed all?
I don't think she knew about Blofeld. I don't think she was I don't think she realized he was behind the scenes because she died before he revealed himself.
Yeah. Which, oh, of course she knew about Skiara, but that was it, I guess.
You're right though about Christoph Waltz. He should release a book, an autobiography called The Author of All Your Pain. The one thing my mum pointed out, and she's kind of right. I mean, even though Skyfall's cool, the fact that they have that they have this mansion in the middle of a bog, you know, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, maybe they're close to the village or something or other, or I don't know.
I mean, Bond must have grown up in it. I mean, the fact that he grew up here, you know, being pretty fucking isolated. I mean, I'm surprised Bond didn't go.
Yeah. He's always come across as a lonely character, so I guess it sort of started from here when he was a kid. I love how the house is also dead and, you know, everything's been boarded up, and like he still has a key for it as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. You think he would have lost it?
Or he would have chucked it because he hated the place.
Yeah.
And we're introduced to Kincaid,
played by Albert Finney.
Yep. I'm so glad they didn't cast Sean Connery in this role. It would have really, the film would have suffered for it.
To be honest, like, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, it would have been like saying James Bond as a code name.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, this is a new timeline as well.
Yeah.
Still
Albert Finney.
Nice to see you.
I can imagine Gabriel Byrne coming in for like Miller's Crossing and like there's a shootout towards the end of the film. I can imagine like a big Tommy gun shootout with Albert Finney, like listening to Danny Boy.
He's still alive.
What are you doing here?
Kincaid is probably older than M.
We better get ready.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't Connery because it would just it had been like saying James Bond as a code name and it would have been too distracting for the viewer.
It's the medical kills. We're gonna kill him first. I like that.
Weeks ago. Let's just your father's old hunting rifle. We couldn't let that
It pisses me off when people say this is like the finale is like a rip off of Home Alone. Like it's got nothing to do with Home Alone. It's James Bond.
I mean, he was trying to stop the burglars from invading his house. He's going back to his old house to try and protect M. You know.
Not only that, but Home Alone, did they have guns in Home Alone? Did they have explosives? You know.
Well, he did have a gun, actually. He did have a gun, but he barely used it.
Now, remember what
I like this line. He was like, "Try and stop me, you jumped up little shit."
Well, the dog. Your fight. Stop me, you jumped up little shit.
I was like, "What did you say you did for a living?"
Did for a living. Because I guess Kincaid only saw Bond for like the first 10 years of his life, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, this has nothing to do with Home Alone. Home Alone, you know, they didn't have guns and explosives and stuff. I mean, you had Macaulay Culkin and Joe Pesci in that movie.
The nights get cold here.
Beautiful old house.
She is. And like all great ladies, first with the ways.
Kincaid, your charmer.
Albert Finney.
Yeah. Information towns. It's not all the war. You get in danger. This is the place to come.
He looks a bit like Santa Claus, Kincaid.
Very honest trailer said that.
And it did come up. Wasn't a boy in it.
Come on.
Let's get on.
She knows all this anyway, but
Yeah. This finale fight is so cool.
this is one of the best climaxes to a Bond film ever. It's so good. The fact that it takes place is brilliant.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Bond accidentally stood in that plank and blew up or something?
Blew himself up.
It's like they board up the whole place. It's like, shit, I forgot to close the back door.
Doesn't Kincaid leave the shed door open as well? Yeah, like that door there.
Some people complain in this film that they blew up the Aston Martin DB5, but they rebuilt it at the end of Spectre.
Yeah, to be honest, in pretty much nearly all of them blows up, or most of them, the car blows up, so yeah, and they do rebuild it.
you imagine if you met Shrek here or something?
What are you doing in my swamp?
We've got 20 minutes left.
I'm just going to take a splash. Keep playing. I'm going to keep mine on as well. I'm just going to see if the toilet's free. Fuck this up, didn't I?
Interesting. She said that fuck this up. Like, you see the regret that M has. Bones kind of stand there like the Terminator at the window. Bones sort of teasing her.
You ready?
I was ready before you were born, son.
This is such an awesome fight. This is so good. And Judi Dench finally gets a piece of the action. You there, Jack?
You dropped something.
Nice one.
Right?
Oh my God. I knew it was a good shot.
Not here. It's not here.
How this climax gets much more epic. There's a big helicopter entrance now.
Always going to make an entrance. The kitchen. Now.
Go to the channel. Use the tunnel. This is brilliant. Bond single-handedly takes on Silver and his men. I love the little nod that Bond gives to Kincaid as well. Oh.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
I've kept the DVD playing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I can't go back just on the part where like Silver's throwing bombs into the house.
Yeah, I'm on that bit as well.
Yeah, it's so good. This climax, it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Like Bond is single-handedly taking on all these men and Silver as well.
James Bond. You do the Blu-ray. Does it have many special features?
It does. It has 13 minutes commentary by Sam Mendes and commentary by producers. A few special features.
Is that documentaries or anything?
Sorry?
Is that documentaries or anything? Or Skyfall?
No, I don't think so. Just featurettes and the commentaries, but other than that, not much.
Yeah, same as the DVD then. I like this bit where Bond's making his own bombs.
I love the shot where he's walking with the his explosion behind him.
I mean, this film was made during the year the London riots. Like, could you imagine, like, imagine Silva during the London riots or something like that?
Oh, Leslie Kincaid is.
DB5 getting destroyed. I mean, yeah, people are annoyed that the DB5 was destroyed in this film, but I mean, he brought it back for Spectre, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's logical. He could do that if it's there. And it's funny that the car being destroyed really pisses him off.
Yeah. That's what sets him off to make the bomb. Are you in the bit where he's about to blow up the house?
Yeah, yeah.
I look at that line, it's like, I always hated this place.
I always hated this place.
But I don't understand, why doesn't he close the door behind him?
I don't know. I don't know if it would have made much difference, to be fair.
Well, we'll stop the explosion a bit.
I always hated this place.
I always hated this place. Basically, his fuck you to his parents. I'm getting warm. That's epic. 2 hours, 4 minutes. Right, we're almost there. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye.
I wonder if I wonder after his parents died whether or not Blofeld's father kept him in Skyfall. Like,
Maybe, I don't know. I think actually no, maybe he went to live with them. I think that was probably what happened. I mean, Kincaid probably stayed to look after the house. So, oh yeah, you know that's when you know she's gonna die.
mean, this film sort of came out after the credit crunch. Could you imagine if what was also came around during the time of the recession, like someone did a funny edit, like James Bond is job seeker.
Oh yeah, this is such a good scene. Like the way it's lit and shot, the music, it's so tense.
Gosh. Someone did a parody of this called Skyfall. He's desperate. He's like, just make sure Bond's dead.
John Bond's dead. God, he's such a creep.
Hello, Mickey Mouse. It's interesting as well that Blofeld tortured, well, basically got Quantum to torture Vesper, and when Craig finds the tape in Skyfall, he just decides to leave it because he's sort of gotten over her death.
No. Well, Cade. Oh, the can't outrun Silver.
Where's Blofeld?
Yeah.
Where can I find him?
Yeah. Even now, Bond's still tripping up.
Skyfall, the Chicken Little. If you reference Chicken Little, that would make more sense in The Lion King.
Yeah. He could have said before he blew up the house, the sky is falling.
Yeah. An acorn lands on like Craig's head.
He's trying to run over the lake.
Well, this scene's quite tense when they fall through the guy henchman.
Mr. Bond.
You see what comes of all this running around, Mr. Bond? All this jumping and fighting. It's exhausting. All this running around, Mr. Bond.
Relax.
Jumping and fighting. It's exhausting. Relax. You need to relax.
Mother's calling.
Well, mother's calling.
It's not as if Silva, Bond, and Blofeld grew up with each other.
Sorry?
Could you imagine if Silva, Bond, and Blofeld grew up with each other?
Oh god, that would have been interesting.
Judy Dench was their mother.
Now that's it. You're grounded. Bond, you're also grounded. And you, Blofeld, you're going to the doctor.
And I mean, Christoph Waltz, you know, the cuckoo. Could you imagine like he was eating mini eggs or something like that? Cuckoo.
You laid your egg.
Brosnan says to Blofeld, "You laid your egg." Cuckoo.
Quite a cold kill actually, when he just snaps the guy's neck with his leg.
Oh, Jesus, Bond must be freezing. He's underneath a lake, freezing water. I don't know how he's able to hold his breath for that long.
He'd probably die of hypothermia like within a few minutes, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I like this. This is a nice little reference, you know, with the grave of Bond's parents. Andrew and Monique Bond. So Bond is half French.
Yeah. Mine was Monica Bellucci.
They are Babe Do.
They are Babe Do. Oh.
This is
quite disturbing at the end.
really.
Where she's in the church, is like, oh, this is how it was meant to be.
It's like the end of her legacy. She's going to be with God now. It's such a scary scene.
You have to be here.
Jack Sparrow. No, don't kill Kincaid. We like Kincaid. He's a teddy bear.
He's Santa Claus.
Now, Silver, what would you like for Christmas?
Has anyone ever asked you what you wanted for Christmas?
Oh, Mr. Bond. Oh, God. That was funny in the Christmas sketch. What have they done to you? That's sadistic when he's saying that. He's like, oh, your hat.
Yeah. Like, you're the guy who hurt him, you prick. Hurt her, sorry. You're the guy who hurt him, you bastard. This is the first time you've really seen M scared. Judi Dench's M scared.
Yeah. She's actually never been more terrible.
Do it.
It's creepy. Basically, like, kill us both so we could be together when we die.
People complain Bond and Silver don't have a fight, but I don't really care about that because we've had a massive climax. We don't like Bond now. It would be too much. It would be.
And he throws a knife in his back. Like, it's disturbing how he just screams at him and then just falls dead.
Last man standing.
Standing.
And that's the end of Silver. Terrific villain. Absolutely terrific.
I wonder if he was still alive when Bond said last man standing.
Got him just some deep water.
I think he was. Oh, this is one of the saddest deaths in any Bond film. Judi Dench's M dies.
You know, surprisingly, this is quite emotional for a Bond film.
And even Bond himself sheds a few tears as well.
She's probably the most important woman in his life, apart from Vesper.
Yeah.
And Tracy.
She became a maternal. And Kincaid is sad. You know, he takes his hat off out of respect.
I should get one thing right.
Can you imagine if it was Connery, he would just call her a parody?
Yeah. I did get one thing right. Touche.
You imagine if it was Walter Murray. Well, she was shaken but not stirred.
Yeah.
She definitely kept the British end up.
Oh, Daniel Craig's crying. It's so sad.
Daniel Pleb. Sean.
What they actually did with Silver's body, or they just threw it in the canal or something.
I just threw it in the lake.
Yeah. Kincaid
This
probably.
shot here is quite good. This shot here is quite good. On top of the building. Some people say that. Well, Mendes said he got inspiration from Dark Knight. You can see it in that shot. I think it's like Batman standing over Gotham.
I didn't even know you could come up here.
I love the end of this film because, like you say, it comes all full circle, brings everything around, but it also initiates something new. It's like the reinvention of what we had in Doctor No, and Tanner's still there.
This film is like an end of an era, but also a new beginning. Like it's the end of M, and that's sort of yeah, but yeah, it's like the end of an era, but a new beginning. You know, it's the end of M and her era, and it's the start of the new era with Bond and Q and Moneypenny, and the new M, Mallory. You know, it's like it's an ending, but it's also a beginning.
Oh, he gets the dog ornament.
Just the opposite.
What were you expecting?
Thank you.
I guess Pompey was going to get some money.
Can you imagine he just chucked the thing off the building?
Yeah. I wonder if she gave her house to. No, actually, no, that's ridiculous because she's still married.
Oh no!
So if she wasn't, she maybe.
Her husband's dead.
You know, we've never formally been introduced.
Her husband's dead.
You know, we've never formally.
Her late husband.
Well, my name's Eve.
When she was reading the poetry.
Eve Moneypenny.
Well, I look forward to our time together, Miss Moneypenny.
Miss Moneypenny.
Me too. I'm sure we'll have one or two close shaves.
Eve Moneypenny. I like the fact from Spectre she's just not behind a desk the whole film.
Yeah, it's a nice change of future films.
It would be a bit sexist if she was just behind a desk for the rest of the films. I love the classic Office as well. They brought back the original Office from
How's the arms?
the Connery and Moore films.
Oh, it's fine.
I think it works, and it's perfect after the destruction of the other building.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And look at the picture of the old one in the background as well.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah, neither have I. Yeah.
With pleasure. M.
With pleasure, M.
With pleasure.
Spectre when the gun barrels at the start again.
Will return. Inspector. That was absolutely fantastic.
That was great.
It didn't feel like 2.5 hours.
No.
I've really got to go, but it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And thank you, Jack. Is there anything you want to say before we close off?
Just that it was fun watching this, and we'll see you next time for another commentary. Maybe not on Bond, but maybe something else.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we have in the library. See ya.
Bye.